Joining us on the news this afternoon is Benson Agbro. He is the Director of Disaster Management at the Nigerian Red Cross Society. We'll talk some more about disaster management in the year 2023. Benson, good to have you on the news this afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
What's your assessment of disaster response and management in Nigeria in the year 2023?
Well, I can proudly say that it is getting better. We now have a coordinating ministry in charge of humanitarian affairs, in addition to the National Emergency Management Agency. And then at the state level, we have functioning state emergency management agencies. And then at the local level, there are some local governments that have been very proactive, and they also have local emergency management committees. Nigeria have had their share of disasters, just like other nations in 2023. These unfortunate incidents, which surpasses the ability of the affected person or the community to manage without external help, actually affects lives, infrastructures, farmlands, and so many other properties. Right now, there are plans. For instance, when you look at flood, for instance, there are already plans that were developed by the government in partnership with humanitarian organizations like the Nigerian Red Cross, the International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, other international NGOs, and local NGOs. The ministry is also working with all these partners to see how we can build the resilience capacity of communities to flood hazards.
Interesting, Benson, that you went to the issue of flooding, which has been a perennial disaster in Nigeria, especially in recent years. What needs to be done to reduce the humanitarian impact of flooding disasters in Nigeria?
Well, as a nation, we need to get our acts together and increase what we have started. Like I just said, the National Emergency Management Agency, working with partners, have developed plans to reduce the effect of flood, the hazards of flood to various communities. We need to go further. We need to develop the capacity of particular communities that are prone to flood to be able to help themselves even before external help will come. This is very key because flood is a natural disaster. It will happen. We have climate change. We have all sorts of things that precipitate flooding. So we need to build the capacity of our communities, of our families to be able to withstand the effect.
Right. Another major, category of disaster or event that really took lives of people in the country, we look at boat mishaps, accidents on rivers, lakes, seas, waterways, and all that. What can you identify, point your finger at, and say this was a major cause of boat mishaps in the year 2023? What do we need to do differently in 2024 to ensure that we don't have people dying because simply they want to travel by water, in Nigeria?
Both mishap, like road traffic accident, occur intermittently in Nigeria. Our branches that are in the riverine areas have been trained to assist, and they have actually assisted in cases that occurred in Niger, in Bayelsa, rivers, and the likes. Mainly, it is non-adherence to safety measures. Boats are manufactured for a particular number of passengers. I mean, the horsepower of the boat will determine to a large extent what body it carries, what passenger number it carries, what weight load it should carry. And then there are also some boats with poor maintenance. This should be discouraged. I mean, people should maintain their boat just as they maintain other vehicles that they use. And then the quality of the boats themselves. Who are the producers? What are the measures put in place for producers and dealers of boats not to shortchange buyers? Then we also have the adverse effect of weather. Flood, for instance, could also be a problem. unsafe waterways. There might be obstructions on the way, and we need to enforce the laws. The laws are there, the guidelines are there. Those who are responsible for enforcing the laws should do their work, and they will have less boat mishap in the year 2024.
There's so much to talk about, when we talk about natural disasters, even man-made, emergencies, disasters. We can talk about conflicts and those who are the victims of conflicts in different parts of the country. There's a lot to talk about. We don't have too much time. But a final question for you, Benson. What policies would you say are on ground right now which are not helping the disaster management sector in the country? What improvements do we need to those policies, or what amendments or changes or even new policies do we need?
Well, each piece of legislation or policy by government is targeted at improving the system. And for us on the Red Cross, we think emphasis should be on people-centered disaster risk mitigation efforts. We want more emphasis placed on the public participation for the design of risk mitigation measures. The Red Cross usually advocates for precautionary actions at the household level, the community level, and at the local level. And then citizens they should support the disaster management. The way to do is by supporting organizations like us that is owned by the Nigerian people. The Nigerian Red Cross was established by an act of parliament in 1960. It's a product of the Parliament of Nigeria, which we call the National Assembly now. It is owned by the Nigerians. So we cannot continue to depend on external funding. We want funding from here for us to be able to do more while the government does their job.
Well, thank you so much very kindly for your time. There's a lot to do in 2024. We wish you, the Red Cross, the very best with the work that you're doing. And we hope for fewer disasters, in the year 2024. Benson, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.